Gonna try, gonna try, gonna try. Work till I die, till I die, till I die. I'm gonna fail and get up, cause I'm not giving up on my dream.
Hi my lovely Frosty fam, it's me, Karen Frost, here at Nail Decadence. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you an acrylic set of nails that's kind of bridal inspired, so it's a very soft pink and soft white sparkly kind of set. Gone for stilettos this time. Haven't done stilettos for a while, so yeah, I thought I'd give that a go. And of course, these are the products I'm using. I'm using the Ink London range of acrylic powders and monomer. Also got some silver leaf and a lot of different crystals. So I've got some opal crystals and some AB crystals that I think really set the nails off quite nicely. There we go. Using my SBD London Oval number 16 brush. Quite like this brush, it's very nice. And also using the Oval number 12. So the bigger brush I'll be using for like capping and stuff, and the little brush is good for like sort of marbles and little detail type areas, if that makes sense. I don't always switch between the brushes, but sometimes I do, and on this occasion I did. I'm using my wonderful Handolly as usual. If you're interested in getting yourself a silicone practice hand that's pretty cool and has slide-in tips, then do check out handolly.co.uk, and you are more than welcome to use my code. It is Frost10 for 10% off your order. That is an affiliate code, just so you know. You're welcome to use it, but you don't have to, of course. So the first thing I have done, or you can see me doing, is applying the thin clear base. That was after I had already prepped the nails, attached the tips, blended the tips in, and then what you saw was me applying the thin clear base. And then I've now moved on to creating the nail bed, extended nail bed, for a reverse French on the ring finger. This pink is so soft, it's just a really nice soft pink. It's not like in your face pink. I think I think it goes well with what I was trying to achieve with this set, which is a more sort of soft muted type of nails, because you know you want your nails to be pretty on your wedding day, but you don't want them to be too in your face. Well, that's of course that's just my personal opinion. You may have a different opinion. You may want wild nails for a wedding, but yeah, this was just something that I thought would be nice for a bridal set. Sorry about the camera going out of focus, it's so annoying. It's on autofocus, so sometimes it goes a bit wild. So as you can see, I applied the pink and worked my way back towards the cuticle area. Now what I've done is, oh gosh, look, I'm taking that clear off. That bead was way too dry and it was setting up too quickly because the pink was warming up. So I just removed that clear very quickly. And I'll apply another bead of clear on top of that, don't worry. So what I'm doing is building my strength and structure of the nail now. You can build your strength with the cover pink. Most cover pinks are strength powders. I personally like to cap everything. I have various reasons. Clear is the strongest of the acrylics. Clear is the cheapest of the acrylics, so if I'm capping with clear, I'm using less of my coloured powders, so they last a bit longer, and I really like the glass finish of clear on top, so yeah, that's why I do it. Anywho, leave that to dry, so I'll file that in later on once it's hardened, polymerized. And now I'll move on to the index finger, where I'm doing a very soft, subtle marble. As you can see, just adding beads of the pink, the translucent pink, the clear, the silver and the glittery white, and just swirling it around, but not too much, so it's just a nice soft marble. In person it's it looks really lovely, but it's a soft marble, so it's not overly in your face. Like I said, I wasn't going for that kind of thing. So the colours are a bit more mixed than they would be if you wanted to really have a defined colour difference with your marble. So I've added some of the silver leaf on top. That will just stick straight on. The acrylic was still damp anyway, so yeah, no need for anything else. Just pop the silver leaf on top, it's fine. And then moved on to the middle finger, where I'm doing a, what's it called, ombre. Totally forgot what it was called then. Yeah, I'm doing an ombre. So that first bead you saw, I pulled the front of the bead down to sort of blend it, and then I put another bead behind it to fill in the cuticle area, and I'll let that set up a little bit. Move on to the little finger, and I'm applying the glittery white colour. What is it a cream or is it a white? I suppose it's a white. It's a very soft white colour, it's not bright white. So I'm applying that at the tip of the nail and ombreing it back up towards the middle of the nail, because I'm going to be doing an ombre with the pink over the top. And here we go. So I've added that pink bead right where the white glitter colour ended, so that I can get my ombre going. So I pulled like mostly just the front of the bead down to get it to blend into my ombre, and then I switched back to the glitter white and pulled that over the pink as well. Just, you know, you can switch between the colours and keep going with each one until you're happy with your blend. I always faff around with my blends. That's just me. I can't do it in just one bead of each colour, I just can't. I always want to add a little bit more and get it a little bit more perfect, although it's never perfect, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so I'm going to add some silver leaf onto this nail as well. I chose silver for this set because I thought the gold would just be a bit too bright, and that's why I chose the silver glitter as well as the silver leaf. So I just thought gold would be a bit too bright, but then again, thinking about it, the gold would probably look alright actually. There's a thought. Well, if you try it in gold, let me know. I'd love to see it. So I've gone back to that middle finger, and now I'm doing some little flowers. Now these are not highly defined because it's a glitter acrylic. You can't really see the details as well as you would if it was just a basic acrylic powder that was matte. So I think if I was to do this again, I possibly might just use a standard white as opposed to the glitter, because they didn't show up as well as I'd hoped they would, the petals that is. And that's all I'm trying to do, is create petals so that I can do 3D flowers, but then keep them nice and thin so that I can encapsulate them without filing into them. You have to keep them so thin. When I say thin, I mean like almost paper thin, like really thin, because you're going to encapsulate them, so you don't want them standing up too high off the nail, because then you'll file into them. You don't want that. So yeah, just add teeny tiny beads, giving them a few seconds to sort of set up. So I'm working on 2 beads at a time, sort of give it a little bit of time to set up, and then I sort of make it into a C shape before I pat it out. And you can see if some of the ones that I've patted out a bit too soon have sort of melded into the previous ones, because I'm impatient. So I really should have waited just a little bit longer between beads so that I got a bit more definition. But yeah, if you want it to be much more visibly defined, I would suggest sticking to a matte acrylic as opposed to the glitter one. So it kind of just all blends in and you don't really see the definition. Technically you could use another colour sort of brushed on the outer parts of each petal, and just to give it a bit of definition, but I didn't do that. But it is possible to do that, and then you would be able to see the petals, each petal be a bit more defined that way. So those are the choices to get around using a glitter acrylic for this, because it's a slightly translucent powder glitter acrylic. That's why it's having difficulty showing up, as it were. But yeah, I still think it looked all right after I encapsulated it and then filed and shaped and top coated. I think it actually turned out all right, because what I wanted was a soft, gentle design that wasn't overly bright, you know, just very soft. I didn't want it to be loud. I wanted it to be soft and gentle. So I suppose it did work that way. So I poured some of the silver leaf on that nail as well, and now I'm going to cap all of the nails apart from the ring finger, which I still need to file in. So what I want to do is cap the other ones so that the dust doesn't get into them. So that first nail, the index finger, as you can see, I applied that bead, brought the bead down, and then added another bead, and you can see I'm using my brush. I'm using the tip and the middle of my brush to tease that bead down the nail, and smoothing and shaping as I go, so that I've got the least amount of filing to do in the end. Third bead down in the middle of the nail, pat out the back of the bead, and then bring down the front of the bead. So I'm building my structure as I'm going back towards the cuticle area. And as you can see, that bead went by the cuticle area, and I'm making sure it's nice and neat and tucked behind the colours, so that when I file, I don't file away the colours. And just looking at it from all different angles, check it from the side, and it looked a bit low, so I needed to add a bit more. Don't be afraid to add more. There's no limit to your beads. There really isn't. You don't have to do it in 3 beads specifically. It takes as many beads as it takes. It depends on the size of the beads you're picking up at the end of the day. So yeah, don't be afraid to use loads of smaller beads. You've got more control with a smaller bead, and it still gets the job done. Yes, it takes a little bit longer the more beads you use, but I don't mind taking a bit longer. If you're in a rush, then obviously you want to pick up bigger beads. But if you can't quite master the bigger beads, then don't be upset. Just carry on with your smaller beads. You get the job done at the end of the day, and what you're looking for is a nice set of nails at the end. And as long as you're getting that, it's not a problem. Do whatever works for you. This is just how I do it. If this works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, there are many other YouTubers out there that show how to do nails. So we've all got our different quirks and our different ways of doing things, and not everything that one person does is going to work for you. But that doesn't mean it's particularly wrong. It just means that's what works for them. So yeah, variety is the spice of life. Watch loads of people. I love watching other people, although I haven't watched any nails for a while, because like I said before in my last video, I've been watching the Johnny Depp trial. He won. Oh, I'm so happy for him. He won. The jury knew she was lying, and he won. So yay for Johnny Depp. He's got his life back, and he's actually in the UK doing concerts and living his life. And I'm so happy for him. He got his reputation and his life back, and it's about time, because those audio tapes of her berating him were awful, so bad, so triggering. But yeah, anyway, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're taking care of yourselves. I did attend my cousin's funeral and stuff last week, or was it the week before? I've totally lost track of my days. It's been hard, so having to say goodbye to 2 family members in the space of a month is it's hard. So I'm just taking each day as it comes and just trying to get through it. That's literally all I can do. Today I wasn't feeling so bad, so I thought I'd do a voiceover, so here I am. Yeah, but do take care of yourselves as well. Had a friend visit me, and she's so sweet. She didn't tell me she was coming around. She just turned up, and it was so nice to have a big hug and a chin wag with a really good friend. And it meant the world to me, because she was worried. So she popped over and she was like, "How are you doing?" So bless her cotton socks. Thank you, Fifi. Love you. Anyway, back to the nails. As you can see, I filed in that reverse French, and now I'm using the silver acrylic powder to outline the French. You don't have to do this, but I just thought I wanted to tie the silver in onto this nail as well, and I thought it would look nice. So I'm just putting a very thin layer of it right up the wall of the extended nail bed, and then when I file it, it will reveal just an outline of silver around the pink, and that's what I was going for. And then I applied the glittery white onto the rest of the nail, and as you can see, I'll just put it right up the wall as well and sort of fill it all in. I'm still keeping it quite thin. I'm not going to build the nail with this glitter one. I don't even know if it's a strength powder anyway, but yeah, it's just not how I do things. I cap everything. So I'm just putting enough of the glittery white to get good coverage, good colour payoff, and then I will cap with the clear acrylic instead. Right, so I'm happy with that. No, I'm still going. Still adding a little bit more, because it's kind of translucent. I'm trying to make sure that the silver's not showing through it, so that's why I keep adding more and more up the wall. See, twist of the nail, just look at it from all different angles, and now I'm going to cap it. My monomer was full of shimmer. So as I'm capping it, I'm noticing that my clear acrylic is looking shimmery. It's just the way it is because of the silver and the white being really highly glittery, shimmery powders. My monomer was just so sparkly. It looked really pretty, actually. But it's not the best thing. I mean, if you're worried about things like that you can always switch out your monomer. Put some clean monomer in a clean dish and use that if you're going to be capping something else. But because I was capping the glittery area, I wasn't so worried about having the glitter in my monomer. So I'll look from all different angles, make sure it's nice and sorted. It's the right, all the nails are a similar thickness and stuff, and then let it set up, and then it's filing time. Are you a Frosty filing freak? I know I am, and I know some of you are, but if you are not a Frosty filing freak, do head along to the timestamp in the corner of the screen that you saw pop up there, and that will take you to the next part of the video if you do not want to watch the filing. But for my Frosty filing freaks, here we go. So starting off with my e-file, I've got a medium carbide bit, and I'm just going to shape the nail. So I'm going to file in my smile line, get it all nicely revealed. I'm trying not to take off too much, but I want to reveal it enough so that I've got a nice clean line around my extended nail bed. There we go. So I'm going to use my e-file just to tidy up some of the side walls of the nail, as well as the sort of debulking, reshaping the nail a little bit. That means I've got less to do with the hand file. You know what I'm like. I've got muscle pains and joint pains, so the more I can do with my e-file, the better it is for me. So yeah, that's why I'm doing sort of the sidewalls and the under arch with the e-file, so that way I've got less to do with the hand file. It just makes my life a little bit easier. If you're not as confident with your e-file to do that, then by all means use your hand file. But yeah, work on, you know, the more you practice, the better you get. So if you're not as confident with your e-file, practice. Get yourself a practice hand like this and just practice, and you'll see you will become much more comfortable with it. But don't forget to practice on yourself also, because Handolly can't tell you if it's heating up. So you want to make sure that you are not keeping that e-file bit in any particular area for any length of time. You have to keep that e-file bit moving, because the friction will generate heat and Handolly can't tell you it's warming up, so do pay attention to that. You can also use your thumb on the nail every so often to feel if it's warming up. So yeah, do practice on yourself so that you know how long you can have the e-file in one place before you start feeling the heat. It's really important that you learn that, so that you don't burn your clients. This is what I don't want you to do. So do practice. Practice really does make an awful lot of a difference. Anyway, as you saw, I used my e-file. I used an extra fine bit to go around the cuticle area, get that nice and flush to the natural nail, so that when it grows out, it's nice and neat and sealed, and nothing's going to get trapped underneath it, because there's no step or lip to it. And then I go straight to my hand file, reshape the under arch of the nails and get that point nice and neat. So I'll do the sidewalls, I do the under arch, and I'm keeping that, when I'm doing the sidewalls, I'm keeping that hand file straight against that wall right the way up from tip to the sidewall near the nail bed. I'm keeping it nice and flat to the nail, because I don't want any curves in my stiletto. I want it to be a nice straight shape. If you're doing an almond, you would have that sort of bowing out of the nail and then coming back in, but this is stiletto, so I wanted it nice and straight on each sidewall. Once I'm happy with that, I just take another fine carbide bit just to smooth it over. It's just literally smoothing it over, just making it all blend in together. You'll see I stop and I look from all different areas and make sure that it's neat and not lopsided. So you have to look from the side, you have to look down the barrel, make sure the nail is nice and contoured and rounded off, you know, that kind of stuff. You can do this part with the hand file as well, don't forget. You don't have to do it with an e-file bit at all, but like I said, I like to save my poor fingers, so do the most I can with my e-file. Because this is a fine carbide bit, it's taking a lot of the demarcations out and really smoothing and contouring that nail for me. And you see how I'm using this e-file bit, where I'm positioning it on the nail and how I'm following the nail. And when I stop and look, and if I notice any lumps and bumps, you'll see that will be the area that I then concentrate on. But you can see I look from each different angle. I stop, look, stop, do a bit more, then I stop and look, and I do a bit more, and then I stop and look. That way I'm not over filing, getting my contour right, because what you don't want to do is file too much, lose your apex and have a thin nail that's going to break so easily. You don't want that. So just to smooth it out a little bit more, just grab my buffing file and give it a quick whiz over. I'm not doing it too much, there's not much to do because that e-file bit really did quite a lot of the smoothing for me. Just want to make sure that there are no harsh lines, which they shouldn't be from that e-file bit. I mean, I could have done that with a sanding band as well. It just so happened I picked up that carbide bit, but it does the same job as the sanding band anyway. It's up to you. You guys, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll see I use different e-file bits all the time. I'm not really particular about specific bits I use. I use loads of different bits because I just like trying all of them. I love playing with them. So yeah, if you've got a particular routine, that's perfect for you. I just like using lots of different things. That's just how I am. So I change how I do things all the time. It just depends on the day and what I feel like, to be honest. Just taking one last look at the nails, make sure they're all similar. Do any small adjustments that need doing. and then we will remove all of the dust. Give Handolly a nice wash with some soap and water to get all of the dust off. Wash my hands, get the dust off my fingers too, because I can't stand it when there's dust there and it gets in the top coat. That drives me nutty. So yeah, there we go. I'm happy with that finally. Bit of a perfectionist, you know what I'm like. But yeah, one final look and I'm like, yep, I'm happy with that. So now it's time to bling it, baby. So as you can see, Handolly's had a wash, and now I'm going to use my jewellery gel to apply the pointy backed crystals. I'm going to make a bit of a crystal cluster on this nail. So I'm going to grab some of the opal pointy backs, as you can see. And I'm just going to place them into that jewellery gel. And when I'm finished putting them on, I will flash cure them in place. I don't want them to slide anywhere. I'll get the cluster the way I want it, and then I'll give it a quick flash cure. So I don't want it to move whilst I'm putting the other crystals on. You only need to flash cure it for about 10 seconds, just to get it to just stay in place, that's all. And then I will use my SBD London Diamond Gel to place the flat back crystals on, and this one is no wipe. So there's no tacky layer with that diamond gel. And again, just placing crystals, just choosing between the opal and the AB, just building out my cluster. And I'm building it as I go. There was no specific plan to how I was going to apply these crystals. I just played it by ear, just kept adding crystals until I was happy with how it looked, really. Then I decided to, as you can see, to bring it down a little bit further down the nail. So yeah, I just had a play with the crystals. No particular. Sometimes I place my crystals in the shape I want them to be. I get it ready, but I didn't do it on this occasion. I just played it by ear with this one. There we go, so I've got quite a big cluster of crystals on this nail, but you know, why not? It's the only nail that had crystals on, so I thought, you know what, let's go all out on this one. So I'll flash cure that for 10 seconds, and now it's time to top it off and keep it tough. Oh yes, the best bit. Some of the nails are see-through, so I'm just adding some top coat underneath them. And then I can top coat and bring these nails to life. And there's the marble. Oh, I really like how this marble turned out. Let's top coat this one. Do you see what I mean about the petals? They're not highly defined, which is a shame. Close up they look better than it does on camera, but like I said, if you want more definition in your petals, you're gonna have to use a more matte type of acrylic. Anyway, as you can see, we are top coating, so it means we're at the end of the video. So there is some footage and photos at the end for you to have a look at. I hope you enjoyed that. But so yeah, we're at the end. Thank you ever so much. I appreciate you coming to my channel, spending some of your most precious time with me. I appreciate you. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. Join the Frosty Fam. I'd love to have you. If you've enjoyed this video in any way, shape or form, or it has helped you in some way, please go ahead and click that like button. And if you feel like it, you are more than welcome to leave me a comment. I'm happy to talk to you. I may not talk to you straight away because I have my off days, but I will get back to you at some point, I promise. Alright, thanks for watching. You take care now, peeps, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.